Welcome, dear students. I hope you all are doing well and ready for today's journey into the world of Augustan poetry. Today, we will delve into the life, works, and literary significance of one of the most brilliant satirists and poetic craftsmen of 18th century, Alexander Pope. So, through his razor sharp wit and polished heroic couplets, Alexander Pope not only entertained his readers but also offered deep moral and philosophical insights. So let's explore this fascinating literary figure who continues to influence English literature even today. So Alexander Pope was born in 1688 in London. Since his childhood, he had many health problems and he was very short in height. He belonged to a Roman Catholic family, so he could not attend big schools or universities. But he was very intelligent and he has read many books by himself. He taught himself Latin, Greek, and French, and many other subjects as well. So he lived in the Augustan Age, which is in early 18th century. This was a time when writers followed rules, orders, and logic in their work. Writer believed that literature should teach people and improve society. But Pope became a leading voice of this time. His, ma- uh, his major work includes an essay on criticism. This poem is about how to judge poetry in literature. Pope said people should read with understanding, not just follow fashion. There is a famous line in this essay on criticism: "A little learning is a dangerous thing." So, Pope stressed on on understanding. So the second major work of Alexander Pope is The Rape of the Lock. It's in our syllabus too. So this is a funny poem. This is a mock epic about a small fight between two rich families when a man cuts a girl's hair. So Pope made the story big and heroic like an epic to show how silly rich people's fight can be. The third one is the Dunciad. So this poem make fun of bad writers, lazy thinkers, and foolish people in society. Pope called them dunces, people who don't think properly. Dunciad means the people who don't think properly. The fourth is an essay on men. It's a philosophical poem about human life. Pope tries to answer what is man's place in the universe. There is a famous line in this text which is whatever is right. It means that everything happens according to God's plan. So if we talk about the style and features of Pope's writing, so he mostly wrote in two-line rhyming verses. That is heroic couplet. These are known as heroic couplets. They are neat, balanced, and easy to understand. He used satire. A satire is a clever way to show the bad things in society using humor and criticism. The third thing is moral teachings. He always gave some lessons about life, human nature, or society in his poems. He used of a classical reference. He often mentioned Greek and Roman gods and stories in his poem. So why Pope is very important? What is his contribution? He was the first poet in England to earn money just by writing. He was very popular among his contemporaries. He translated the great Greek books like Iliad and Odyssey into English. He helped shape English poetry and brought discipline and style into it. His quotes are still popular in English. And if we talk about his early career, so when he wrote The Rape of the Lock, he was not yet 24 years old. In fact, his birthday fell the day after the first two cantos to the first version of the poem was published on 20th May 1712. He was paid €7 for this poem by the bookseller, in fact, the publisher, who brought it out in a miscellany with six other poems by Pope, including his translation of of the first book of Statius the Bed, and To a Young Lady, with the works of Voyager. So, according to Pope's account, he was rushed into publishing the poem before I had executed half my design, in order to forestall a threatened unauthorized publication. During 1713, he worked on the expanded version of the poem, adding the machinery of the syllables and genome real. So, Pope had already attracted attention. His pastorals were published alongside the episode of Sarpedon, that is translated from Homer's Iliad. So, so if we talk about Alexander Pope in short, in a brief, so he was an English poet, a satirist of early 18th century. He belongs to Augustan Age in Neoclassical Age. He is a major poet of his age. After Shakespeare, Pope is the second person whose quotation most used by Oxford Dictionary. That is very important. At the age of 12, he suffered from a lot of diseases. Due to this, he could not grow up well. His height was very short. It was just 4.5 feet. Therefore, all had boycotted him. He too dropped his school due to his health issues. He got educated privately. Once he proposed a girl, that is a real incident actually. Once he proposed a girl, but she rejected him and mocks on him. So so Pope wrote something witty for her, and he never married in his whole life. He got irritated due to these issues and known for his bad temper, although his skills too developed till his teenage. Before reaching his teenage, he got more sensible than other kids of his age. He was so determined. He began to write verse. In the Restoration period, he was the master of heroic couplets. Couplets is the two-line poem. So before him, John Dryden used this technique. Uh, John Dryden used this technique. So Dryden is known as the master of heroic couplet originally. Although Alexander Pope used heroic couplet technique in his famous smoke epic, The Rape of the Lock, even Pope made John Dryden as his ideal. At the age of 23, he published his first major work, an essay on criticism. This is a mature work of Pope in 1711. In 1720, he joined a club where he made a friend, Joseph Edison. He was a writer, and Richard Steele. He was an editor. He was an editor who published his works. The other members of the club asked him to translate Homer's The Iliad. This is the turning point of Pope's life, and he became rich and famous and settled into a villa that was known as Pope's Villa. He tried to revise his poetry and assemble, but on 30th May 1744 he died to swelling due to water and asthma. So people, actually when he was alive, people afraid to Pope and his satirist work very much, because he criticized very much. He made so much enemies due to this, due to his skills. He made so much enemies. He used to carry a pistol even when he went out to his house because of his enemies. In 1709, Pope showcased his precious um, metrical skill with the publication of Pastoral. This was his first major work. So if we talk about the text in our syllabus, the rape of the lock, this one. So it is a satire on high societies. It's a mock heroic narrative. It's a comical poem. It was published in 1712 and revised version published in 1714. It is one of the most commonly cited example of high classes. Pope wrote Rape of the Lock on his friend's request, John Carroll. He told him to write something funny and witty, and also to resolve a dispute between two families of Lord Peter and Arabella Fermor. So it is based on the real incident. The story of the rape of the lock is based on a true event. Lord Peter actually cut a lock. A lock is a is hair actually. So Lord Peter cut a lock of Arabella's hair. So John Carroll, another friend of Alexander Pope, wanted to resolve the dispute. So he actually told him to write something funny and witty so that the both families can resolve their disputes. So Pope declared in the very first canto of the book that there is a dangerous offense with a girl named Arabelle. A lord attack on a beautiful girl because she rejected him, and after the declaration, Pope began to tell the story. So we will discuss about the text in our next class. I think this is sufficient about Alexander Pope, and we will in our next class we will discuss more about Alexander Pope and the text, the Rape of the Lock. So to conclude, I can say I would like to say that Alexander Pope was not just a poet of elegance and order, but also a profound thinker who held up a mirror to the society of his time. His sharp wit and classical elegance, his sharp wit and classical elegance and order and philosophical depth make him a cornerstone of English literature, which is very important. I hope today's discussion helped you understand how Pope used poetry not just for art but also for critique, reflection, and moral instruction. So in our next class we will begin reading his famous mock epic poem, that is The Rape of the Lock. It's a humorous poem that talks about a small incident in a big way, and we will enjoy understanding how Pope uses satire to show the silly behavior of the upper class. Thank you for listening patiently. See you all tomorrow.